The big mantra from Hillary Clinton and certainly Bernie Sanders is it's all about the top 1%.
Right.
You're in the top 1%.
Proudly, happily.
Are you paying enough in taxes?
I'm okay with paying more, believe it or not. But my problem isn't in paying more.
How much more? Like 80,
well,
90%?
Well, no, that's always the question, right? How much is enough? And my problem, look, I say this all the time. After military service, the most patriotic thing you can do is pay taxes, because there's nothing here that I haven't benefited from, right? I'm proud to be an American. I'm blessed to be in this country.
So what rate do you think is fair, Mark?
You know, it's more about marginal cost, right? I don't have a problem that, you know, if I'm making $100 million a year, and on the next $10 million, I'm paying, you know, 50%. I can live with that, right? It's not going to impact my lifestyle.
But I think
what I care about more, Ash, more important to me is how we spend it. Right? I think we're collecting enough in taxes. The problem is we waste so much of it. There's so many different programs.
So collecting more is not going to help, because
it's not going to help a lot,
right? The great abyss.
That's exactly right. We have to be far more efficient in how we spend it, and we have to know how to deal with that now, because technology is going to replace more and more and more jobs. We can talk all we want about, you know, which jobs are going away. You're not replacing jobs. Those old typewriter manufacturing jobs, right? You know, those jobs making LPs in Terre Haute, Indiana, they're gone. You know, and in the future, robotics and, you know, artificial intelligence is going to replace even more jobs. You know, Mark Andreessen says software is going to eat the world, and that's true. And so we have to start putting those policies in place. And when you have two candidates that don't even understand technology, that creates problems. You're
an independent, but you're a true believer, I think, in smaller government, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Government intrusion is like a wet blanket over growth.
It just depends how, right? There's things we have to do. There's commitments we've made as a country to our citizens, right? And just because we don't want, we're going to have to pay for it one way or the other, right? We talk about health care. We might not like Obamacare, but we're still going to pay the health care for those people in one way or the other. The goal is what's the most efficient way to do it. And you know, and that applies to 1,000 other.
Are you a single payer kind of guy?
I lean in that
like
direction.
Like a British National Health Service, something like that?
I think we can do a better version, and here's why, though. Because prior to Obamacare, it wasn't like Obamacare wasn't in the cards and it wasn't being discussed. The entire healthcare industry, the entire insurance industry had the opportunity to come up with a solution and offer a solution, and they didn't. Right? They just stood back and did nothing, and they got what they got. Right? Now, as a country,
would you like to throw Obamacare out and start again?
No, you couldn't.
With a more
efficient, no, because it would cost you far more money to try to restructure it and redo it and reinitiate it than it would to try to evolve it. And so we have to come up with better solutions. But the thing to always remember, the risk does not leave the system. Right? Just because we don't like the way we're paying for it now doesn't mean those costs are going to go away. They won't. The people who don't have insurance are still going to need health care, and we have to figure out a way to pay for it.
Got to ask you about foreign policy very quickly, only because Donald Trump is a lot stronger and he's picked up a lot of support because of that. During the Obama administration, we've kind of had a hands-off, wait-and-see approach, which hasn't been very effective.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big believer that you lead by strength. And, you know, I'm not an isolationist, and I think Donald is trying to lead in that direction, whether it comes to trade. He wants a stronger military, but in my perspective, I'll take bites over bullets. Right? Because I think the battles of the future are going to be fought before the bullets and the bombs are dropped and the bullets are fired.
Do you think with Donald Trump, I think he kind of throws outrageous things out there. You're a business guy. You've done a gazillion deals. It just throws people off. It may not mean exactly what, he doesn't mean what he says, but he just throws it out there, and then they negotiate from that point onwards.
I look at it this way. Sometimes Donald Trump is too good at media for his own good. You know, seriously, he throws out these trial balloons to see what the response is. And in his mind, he doesn't have a lot of self-awareness. He doesn't understand a lot of the context once you get outside of some social media, right, or some traditional media. And so it backfires on him, and he doesn't quite know how to deal with the blowback.
Do you know Donald well?
Yeah, I wouldn't say well, but yeah, I mean, up until recently, we got along really well.
When was the last time you spoke with him?
Probably about a month ago.
All right. Has he responded to some of your comments about
him? Well, yeah, he sent me, I won't tell you how he responded, but he sent me an email saying, what happened?
Seriously, like, why aren't you on my side now?
Because, you know, I was 100% against Ted Cruz, and I told him so, and I told Donald I wasn't, you know, I disagree with a lot, if not most of his policies, but I thought, and I told this directly to Donald. It wasn't like I tried to hide it, but I thought Ted Cruz was the worst thing that could happen to this country, and so I would help him in any way I could. Once he got past Cruz, I told him specifically, you know, now it's about the issues, and when you start defining your issues, then I'm happy to come back on board if they make sense.
Did he agree with you? Did he take that on board? Or?
I didn't hear back from him after that.
Well, okay. If Hillary Clinton decides that Elizabeth Warren is the one for her on the VP ticket,
then there's a good chance I vote for Donald Trump.
I was going to ask, really, because that will really pull the Democratic Party way to the left.
But we need to be more center. I mean, you know, this country needs solutions, right? We don't need headline porn. We don't need people talking about, you know, playing to progressives, right? Playing to conservatives. The more we deal with labels than solutions, the bigger our problems get. If you keep on giving what you've always got, you keep on getting what you always got, right? And this partisanship, this tribalism has got us where, you know, we're confused. We're not able to do anything, and that's got to change. And I think, you know, Elizabeth Warren has accomplished a lot in her life, but, you know, taking it that far left would be a huge mistake, any more than if Donald Trump went the other way. We need to come center.
Very good. All right, put you on the spot. Who wins this thing? It's been a fascinating process, whatever, but who do you think?
Right now, with the way things are, if I had to bet, I think it's a landslide for Hillary.
Really?
No question about it. But because I think the Bernie supporters will come along, you know, as much as they might, you know, cascade Hillary right now, they're not going to vote for Donald Trump. It's just not going to happen.
But Donald's been able to get a lot of people out to vote. People who don't normally participate in the political process.
Yes, and he deserves a ton of credit for that. But getting 13 million primary voters is not getting 65, 70 million votes in the general election.
He's a pretty effective campaigner, as you say. He's very good at media.
It's a different beast, right? It's a different, getting 70 versus 13, it's a different beast. And getting media, and you know, you and I discussed briefly before, there's teleprompter Trump, right, is not going to get media. Right? If you know he's reading from a teleprompter,
Trump gets
all the media he needs. And so now you've got that balance. If he's teleprompter Trump, he'll raise more money. He won't get the media. If he's not teleprompter Trump, he's not going to raise enough money. And that's the problem. It's not so much the issues. He's not going to raise enough money to create the ground game because you still got to tell people to get out there to vote.
Mark Cuban, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, it's a fun conversation.
You wish you signed Steph Curry? I'm just throwing that out there.
Thanks a lot.
That was me, Mark Cuban. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it.